Alright, so the playoffs are set. There's plenty of interesting series I have my eyes on. If you're a nerd, you're going to like that Indiana Miami series. Utah and Denver should be really close. OKC Houston, I think, will be a really contrasting game of styles, and obviously CP3 versus Harden. And I might do a video on some of these other ones, but today I want to talk about the Lakers and Trailblazers. I just watched the Trailblazers beat the Grizzlies in a really entertaining game. The Grizzlies fought hard, and man, Ja Morant, that kid's something. If he can stay healthy, and if he can maybe put on a couple extra pounds of muscle, he's gonna be great for a long time. I'm excited for that Memphis team's future. Well, maybe not as a Spurs fan, I'm not that excited for them, but Memphis hasn't won anything in a while, so good for Memphis. But let's get to this Lakers Trailblazers series, because I think this series is really interesting because it's going to really expose the contrasting weaknesses of these two teams. And I want to start with Portland. The big question going into this series is going to be like, who do they even have to put on LeBron? Just to even match him size-wise. Because, this three-guard lineup they're running with Gary Trent, CJ McCollum, and Dame Lillard, none of those guys are viable options to defend LeBron. Not even really on a switch. I think the entire Lakers offense is just going to be trying to get those guys to switch on LeBron. So that immediately presents a massive challenge for Portland defensively. Now, even though the Lakers have been playing poorly, especially on offense, I think they have the worst offense in the bubble. I saw a stat, they are scoring 98 points per 100 possessions. And every other offense in the bubble so far has just been killing it. We're seeing teams get to 130 points in regulation like it's nothing. But when we look at this Portland roster and trying to look for guys that can stick LeBron, obviously nobody can stick LeBron, but a guy that you can put on LeBron, the list is short, man. They really could have used Rodney Hood. That injury is going to really stink for them in this series. And same thing with Trevor Ariza, who's not in the bubble either. Both of those guys are on the roster and probably would have been the guys that you would have started your possessions off guarding LeBron. And now both those guys aren't available. So we got, Melo can match him size-wise, but really? Are we really going to ask Melo to guard LeBron? We got Mario Hezonja, the LeBron stopper. Hezonja might be the worst player in the league, but he might be their best option when it comes to this. And they have the rookie Nazir Little, who I like, and I think once he gets more time, can end up being a pretty good NBA player. He's got a great NBA-ready body already. He's working on his jump shot and his decision-making. But give that pick a couple more years to pan out, you might have a really solid role player there. But he's not ready to be thrusted into this kind of situation right now, even though there's a good chance he will be. So I think that's the big question mark for Portland. The rest of the team, Portland has bigs to match with Davis and JaVale and Dwight, and I think, JaVale and Dwight might end up being a wash in this series. Obviously, Davis is going to be tough for them to stop. Zach Collins is probably going to be the primary defender for Davis. Zach Collins is a little more mobile than Nurkic, and I think he'll be able to kind of deal with Davis when he goes onto the perimeter, and I don't really think Nurkic is going to be able to deal with that. And then the rest of the Lakers guards don't really scare me at all. I think Gary Trent's a solid defender. I think CJ and Dame also have really improved their defense as their careers have gone on. So I don't think any of the other defenders are going to be a problem, but it might get scary for them really quick when they realize, holy shit, we have nobody to even bother LeBron James. So, but then on the other side, when we're looking at the Lakers, I think the Avery Bradley loss is going to be huge in this series. Thank God for Danny Green if you're a Lakers fan. Because outside of Danny Green, I don't think I trust Caruso to stick anybody. I don't think he's a guy that's going to slow down Dame or CJ. KCP, maybe. KCP shows flashes on that end. So I think the Lakers are in a better position with their odd defensive matchups in this series compared to Portland, but we also just watched Dame average, 50 points over the last 4 games, and I wouldn't be shocked if he has a couple 60 pieces in this series. So, my prediction, I love Dame. Dame's great. I've had so much fun watching Portland. CJ's great too. I'm definitely not a trade CJ person. Anybody who thinks Portland should trade CJ has no idea what they're talking about. But I think I got the Lakers in a close 5 games in this series. Maybe only 1 or 2 blowouts, but a lot of these games are going to be close. And in that one game that I'm predicting Portland to win, I'm also predicting a classic Damian Lillard game winner.